and I'm going to talk you through the process of coloring her hair. So let's start with an E25, working from the part in the middle of her hair and just flicking downwards towards the center of this first section, and then we're going to do the same thing, moving the marker from the bottom of that section towards the middle. And then we're going to go over that with our red shade marker, and the red shades we're going to use here are E08 and E09. And we're going to do the same thing, and all you're trying to do here is make sure that there's some variation in the different lines of color that you're putting in, and that the lighter shades extend closer to the middle of the hair section, and the darker shades stay closer to the scalp and to the ends. And if you do that, then you'll give the illusion of hair that has highlights in it, and that's kind of shiny. And we're just going to do that same method piece by piece. So I've broken her hair out into 4 different sections. So we have this section I'm working on now on the right side of her head. And then we have the section here. This is the second section. And we're going to do that same technique of starting from the top of the section, moving towards the middle but not quite touching the middle, and then doing the same, starting at the ends and moving towards the middle but not quite touching the middle. And you're just going to go over that with all the different shades of marker. And then for the little white highlight in the middle, I like to fill that in with our highlight color, which is E21 here. Now, some people who are really brave and bold, and once you get really good at coloring, you'll be able to do this. I'm not quite there yet, but there are some people that are so good and they have such confidence that they can actually leave that little section that I colored in kind of beige white, and it'll look great. So I hope some of you out there try that. I am not brave enough yet in my coloring, but someday I'll get there. All right, now we're just going to finish up this last section of her hair using the same exact technique that we've been doing the whole way through, starting with a brown, moving to a red, going back to a brown, adding some more red if it looks like the hair is getting too brown, and then leaving that little highlight in the middle with the E21. Now we're just going to finish her off by drawing a little mole above her lip, and now we're going to start on the cowboy.
Once upon a time, I was a cowboy.
You were a cowboy?
I was a cowboy, and I was walking along the Silverado Trail.
How very cowboy of you.
Like I said, I was walking along the Silverado Trail in Napa Valley, California.
Wine country? That doesn't sound very cowboy.
I was a cowboy, and right as I got up to the Oakville crossing, I spotted a pretty lady leaning against a fence post.
What was she doing there?
She was waiting for a ride to take her to work, but her ride didn't show up, and she was going to be late for her shift at the Peppermint Hippo.
The Peppermint Hippo? That doesn't sound like a winery.
Well now, that's because it wasn't. The Peppermint Hippo is a gentleman's club, the Wild West section of Calistoga.
She was a cocktail waitress?
She could have been, but I don't know. The cowboy doesn't ask such questions of pretty ladies he's just met in the road. So, getting back to the story, as we stood at the crossing, the pretty lady was growing more anxious by the second. So I told her, as you can see, I don't have a car or a horse, but you're more than welcome to hop up on my back, and I'll carry you myself to the Peppermint Hippo.
Why couldn't she walk there herself?
You see, she had these really tall, clear plastic high heel shoes on.
Like Cinderella's glass slippers?
No, not exactly, but they definitely weren't made for walking long distances. So, she hopped up on my back and we started walking. And then we started talking.
What did you talk about?
Oh, we talked about everything and anything as we headed up to Calistoga. Our hopes and dreams, our triumphs and regrets, our pasts and our futures. But honestly, I can't recall any specific thing that she told me or I told her. It was one of those magical conversations that embeds itself in your soul but misses your memory somehow.
What happened next?
Well, the sun set and the sky turned a brilliant, deep, dark blue, and the stars started twinkling. And then she kissed my cheek, hopped off my back, and by the time I turned around to say goodbye, she was gone.
Because she was really a ghost?
No, the Peppermint Hippo was across the street. I reckon she ran in and started her shift. And I never did see or hear from her again. But I still have this picture that we took together that day, and I carry it with me wherever I go. And whenever I look at it, I remember what it was like to be a cowboy.